Alright, I'm hoping the fucking microphone is working on this. So, I'm not gonna shout out my main channel. My main channel is obviously doing way better than this one, but this is probably going to be my secondary channel since I wanted to do something like this. Um, but my main channel mainly focuses on long plays of video games, and I just hit a couple thousand subscribers, so that was a big milestone for me. Um, but this one's going to be just for movie reviews. Since I was planning on doing something like this, I was thinking about doing it on my main channel, but I decided it would be better if I just did it as a side project, as like a little hobby. And if it doesn't go anywhere, whatever, but I would really be willing to do it. Because there's plenty of movies that I've seen that I can do reviews on right off the bat, but Django Unchained. Now, I haven't watched this movie in about 6 months. Uh, well, years actually. It's it's complicated, but I've seen this movie hundreds of times. I think the last time I saw it was about 6 months ago on TV. I watched it. It was like the last 5 minutes of it was playing where the house blows up and Samuel L. Jackson dies. But I've seen this movie 100 times over. It's one of Quentin Tarantino's best, and even though it's been a while since I've sat down and watched the whole movie, um, I can remember the entire plot without so much as a hitch. Like I can remember the entire plot easily. It's a very unforgettable movie. It's got one of my favorite comedy scenes of all time with the Jonah Hill scene. Anybody who's seen the movie knows what I'm talking about. And it's probably one of the most quotable Quentin Tarantino movies next to that. Not to mention, you got, I believe his name is, what was his name? Yeah, Christoph Waltz, the guy that played the Hans Landa, the Jew hunter from Inglourious Bastards. He's playing the fucking tooth guy. I forget the guy's name, but he's playing the tooth guy that kind of buys Django, and he's a bounty hunter. And then, of course, you got Leonardo DiCaprio in here as Calvin Candy, and then Jamie Foxx as Django, and Samuel L. Jackson as Leonardo DiCaprio's like head slave or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's not a person on this earth that has not seen this movie. I'm sure 90% of the people watching have seen this. This is one of, if not Quentin Tarantino's most popular movie. I would honestly say that it's probably been more influential than fucking Kill Bill. I wouldn't say more influential than Pulp Fiction because obviously that not only made Samuel L. Jackson one of the most popular black actors in Hollywood, it also pretty much revitalized John Travolta's career. But now, of course, that didn't last long since he kind of died out in the 2000s. But it was a short-lived breath of fresh air. But I'd say this is probably his second most influential movie. There's not a whole lot of modern westerns. The western genre kind of died out as the new age came on, and there's only a handful of modern westerns that I can say, that I can recommend. There's only about 6 or 7 of them that I know off the top of my head, and there's only about 5 of them that I think are worth checking out. Django Unchained being one of them. And if you would like to check out something else like this that's not necessarily Quentin Tarantino movie, but is a very good Western movie, is The Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington. That is also a great one. In a Valley of Violence with Ethan Hawke is also another good one. Cowboys and Aliens with Harrison Ford. Ridiculous movie, but still fucking awesome. But I think the best of the modern Westerns is definitely going to be Django. Django Unchained, it definitely stands out from any other Quentin Tarantino movie for that matter. Now, of course, the movie after this that he would do would be Hateful Eight, which is another Western type movie, but even the Hateful Eight is very different from Django. Um, because Django perfectly blends this ultra violent movie. Because this movie, if you're looking for gore and violence, this movie has enough. I mean, there's literally a scene where a dude gets his nutsack shot off. Like it's fucking violent. That shootout at the end of the movie is just bloody as shit. There is blood everywhere. There's fucking body parts and shit. I mean, it's just fucking blood everywhere. This is a very ultra violent movie. Like, it does not hold back on the violence. It's probably one of Quentin Tarantino's most violent endings. Like, it's it's pretty bad. I think it's right up there with Kill Bill One's Volume One's ending. I mean, it's pretty freaking crazy. Not to mention you got the perfect blend of just ultra violent action with pure fucking comedy gold. I mean, it takes this very dark subject and puts honestly some of the funniest scenes and most quotable scenes in movie history. I like the way you die, boy. I mean, it's just lines like that have stuck with me ever since I first watched this movie, and I think a lot of other people feel the same way too. You know, um, but yeah, I mean, and even with you get Kerry Washington in here, Leonardo DiCaprio, Christoph Waltz, Jamie Foxx, and Samuel L. Jackson. You also got Walton Goggins in here, which is another guy that's been in a metric fuck ton of stuff. I actually think the last movie I watched with that guy in it was Fat Man with Mel Gibson. That was a pretty good movie, but um, that dude's also been in quite a few Quentin Tarantino movies as well. I mean, he was in The Hateful Eight, but yeah. So if you haven't seen Django Unchained, this is definitely a movie that you need to watch before you die. This is a must watch for anybody. If you watch any Quentin Tarantino movie, I recommend you watch this one. Um, a lot of people would probably say the same about Pulp Fiction. I'm gonna be totally honest. Pulp Fiction, I think, is severely overrated. Um, I never really understood it. I've seen it twice, and that's actually one of my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. I know it's fucking sacrilege, but I don't give a shit. It's my opinion. But Django Unchained is next to Inglorious Bastards is my absolute favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I'd also put From Dusk Till Dawn up there since I'm a huge fan of that movie. You got Juliette Lewis, Quentin Tarantino in that. You got George Clooney. Very good movie. And you got side characters like I think Danny Trejo's in it. But Django Unchained, you know, if you watch any Quentin Tarantino movie, you've got to watch this one. This one will get you hooked. And I could also say the same thing about Inglorious Bastards because that one was just fucking awesome. But this one overall is probably my favorite of Quentin Tarantino's movies. I really regret not going to see it in the theaters. Now, of course, I probably wasn't allowed to, but I mean, this was what 2012. I would have been 12 years old, but um, I've only seen one. No, I've seen two Quentin Tarantino movies in theaters. That's All Hateful Eight and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm probably gonna go see the movie when it comes out. But uh, it's a movie that I definitely would have killed to see if I could go see it. But just treat yourself, man. If you have not seen this movie and you want to watch something that's ultra violent, action packed, and just funny as shit, and is a legitimately good action movie, and is probably Jamie Foxx's best role, period. And that's saying a lot. I mean, Jamie Foxx is a fucking A-list actor, and he's been in all kinds of shit. So that's probably saying something there. You know what I mean? You got The Kingdom and Sleepless, and you also got Miami Vice, and you got Collateral. But I would say this is probably his best role, period. You know,
I really can't think of any other movie that would be better than this one. I would rather watch this one. And that's not saying that his other stuff isn't good. No, he's an amazing actor, but that just shows you how fucking good he did in this role. I mean, this role would not have worked with anybody else. I don't think it would have been iconic without anybody else. Jamie Foxx perfectly plays the role of Django, and Christoph Waltz perfectly plays his character, and Leonardo DiCaprio perfectly plays the scumbag bad guy in this movie, and it just blends together so fucking well. And it's just a movie that I always have fun with. So if you check out any Quentin Tarantino movie, go check out Django Unchained. It's fucking western. Yeah, it's kind of fucking long. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes, but trust me, it's worth it. It's fucking worth it. You know, if you like violent stuff, this definitely doesn't disappoint. There's literally hundreds of people that get their heads blown off in this. So have fun with that. And I mean, literally within the first 10 minutes, you got Django. He's like in this slave trade caravan, and Christoph Waltz comes along and buys him and kills there's two guys running the slave thing, and then Christoph Waltz ends up killing one of them and then dropping the horse on the other one, and giving the newly freed slaves the guy's gun and letting them decide what to do with him. And Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx goes off, and the scene ends with all the slaves gathering around the horse, and you can see in the background you hear the gun cock, and it like there's just this giant fountain of blood that comes up. You hear a bang, and then fountain of blood come up. It's a pretty fun movie. That's within the first 10 minutes. I mean, it's fucking crazy. But basically, Christoph Waltz is this bounty hunter, and he's a legitimately a good person, and well, I mean, fucking kills people, so he's not a good person, but he kind of takes Django under his wing and teaches him how to bounty hunt, and then Django finds out that Calvin Candy, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, has his wife. Um, so they decide to sneak in there under this disguise, I guess you could say, and sneak into his plantation or whatever. And all I'm gonna say is a bloody fucking battle ensues. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It is bloody as shit, and there's two halves to it. So have a lot of fun with that. But that's another thing. This is definitely a movie. Like I have seen many movies tackle like many dark sides of history. You got Schindler's List and The Passion of the Christ that just tackles some very disturbing parts of history. And then, of course, you got 12 Years a Slave with Benedict Cumberbatch and Brad Pitt that tackle very dark parts of world history. But I'm glad that this movie didn't. This movie definitely uh, usually with movies like Schindler's List and the other ones that I mentioned, those are usually just a one and done movie, not because they're bad, they're just very disturbing to watch. American History X also falls into that category. They're very disturbing movies, and it's hard to watch them more than once. Um, they're very good movies, but they're very disturbing movies. The Pianist is another one that I can put up there. It's a very hard movie to watch. But Django never felt, and Inglorious Bastards should be another one that should fall into that category. But Quentin Tarantino does something with his movies that I can't explain it. There's really no word for it. But anybody who's watched these movies know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just something that he does makes the movies very enjoyable. And should they be enjoyable? Well, that could be definitely debated upon. But Quentin Tarantino, there's no denying that that dude is a fucking master at what he does, and to take something that dark and turn it into something like this, an epic, um, it's really incredible. I mean, it is. I mean, I gotta give the guy credit. Dude knows what he's doing, and he's very intelligent director. And now, of course, I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but I respect the hell out of the dude for putting in this much work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whenever a Quentin Tarantino movie comes out, I feel like it's an event. It's a fucking event. You know, he's whenever he releases a movie, everybody shuts up and watches it. You know, I remember his last movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Everybody was freaking out about that when it came out. I saw it in theaters, and I fucking love that movie. But that is another movie that tackles a very dark historical subject, the Charlie Manson cult. Very dark historical subject. Probably one of the darkest he's tackled so far. Especially with the world today and how you got more cults and shit showing up. Um, but yeah, what happened to Sharon Tate and all that, you know, that's definitely a very fucking dark side of Hollywood history, you know what I mean? And he turned it into another one of his masterpieces. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a fucking amazing movie, and I saw that in theaters and I was just blown away by it. I fucking loved it. But no less, as I said, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it. This is a must watch. This is a must watch. Um, and that's all I got to say about that. So, 10 out of 10 movie. Go watch it.